Congress gathered in our nation's capital today amid citywide snow emergencies to certify President-elect Donald Trump's election victory. This comes exactly 4 years after Trump addressed a group of supporters who then attacked the Capitol, disrupting certification of his 2020 loss. Today, there was no such violence. Alice Barr reports from the Capitol.
The House come to order.
Vice President Kamala Harris presiding over a joint session of Congress today, certifying the election she lost to President-elect Donald Trump.
Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida has received 312 votes.
The vice president pausing as she read the final results.
Kamala D. Harris of the state of California has received 226 votes. One of the most important pillars of our democracy is that there will be a peaceful transfer of power.
The orderly counting of the votes from each state without objection.
Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida received 30 votes for president.
A sharp contrast to 4 years ago, when a mob of Trump supporters stormed the Capitol, overwhelming police and temporarily interrupting certification of President Biden's 2020 victory. Today, an enormous security presence around a snowy U.S. Capitol.
We're certainly very prepared.
As Democrats vow to support a peaceful transfer of power.
We're going to have to move this country forward, whether we got the results from the election that we wanted or not.
Democrats also promising history won't be erased, with President-elect Trump preparing to pardon some January 6 offenders as one of his first acts. Republican leadership now in control in both the House and Senate, looking ahead to the Trump agenda.
What he wants to ensure is that we deliver the America First agenda. That is our mission. That is our intent.
The transition of power now underway in earnest as President-elect Trump and the nation prepare for his inauguration 2 weeks from today. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
On this same day, 4 years ago, demonstrators also caused damage at the Washington state capitol. Dozens broke through the gates at the governor's residence on the Capitol grounds. Our Olympia Bureau Chief Drew Mickelson joining us live now with a look back at what happened 4 years ago and what has changed since then, Drew.
Yeah, Joyce, nobody was seriously injured, not a lot of physical damage to the property, but what happened on that January 6th changed the state capitol campus forever.
Stop the steal! Stop the steal!
What had been a passionate yet peaceful demonstration crossed the line on the Washington State Capitol campus January 6, 2021. Dozens, many armed, upset about the 2020 election, took their concerns to the front lawn of Governor Jay Inslee. He and his wife, Trudy Inslee, were placed in a secure location until state and local authorities cleared the property. For months, fences and the National Guard surrounded the Capitol. A law was passed that spring barring gun owners from the open carry of their weapons on the campus as well as at any demonstration in the state.
We're looking at our video surveillance cameras on these screens here.
In 2023, the state opened a security operations center staffed 24 hours a day, keeping an eye on almost every corner of the Capitol.
They're looking for the illegal acts that may occur.
If you're coming on this campus to express yourself, we're here for you. But if you're coming on this campus to break the law, if you're coming on this campus to harass and bully and intimidate others, well, the stop signs are well marked and so are the exits.
State Patrol spokesperson Chris Loftus says security upgrades were in the works before the breach at the mansion, but January 6th helped make them happen, and the upgrades continue. Last summer, glass partitions were installed in the governor's lobby, and in the fall, the state put a hydraulic barrier in the ground at one of the entrances that can be raised in case the road needs an instant blockade. Loftus says increasing security here protects democracy here.
We want people to come to this campus because this is their capital. This is their Capitol campus. We want them to be safe, but we also want them to feel safe. Because if they don't feel safe, they're not going to feel safe enough to say what they need to say.
4 years later, the state is still working on some of the fencing here to ensure the security entirely around the governor's mansion area. And there are plans in place to put another one of those road barriers in the ground that can come up at one of the entrances here at the Capitol. Joyce?
And what happened to the people who broke through those gates that day?
Well, not many were arrested. There were about 100 or so that got through this gate, but only 4 were arrested, and that happened after January 6th. The charges were dropped against one of them. The state made a conscious effort to not go after everybody. They just went after those who they believed were the instigators behind this breach that day.
Live in Olympia for us tonight. Thank you, Drew.